You're Spurt back with another AOT Live. This is AOT Live number 4. We're going to be discussing episodes 11 through, was it 16 now? I got a few special guests with me in the back. I'm going to let them in a quick second, but I wanted to let people know if you're watching a replay, hit that like button, subscribe, leave your comments below. If y'all in the chat that are watching live have any long ass comments, just put that shit in the comment section. I'll get to it later. Um, with that being said, there will be spoilers. So if you're not caught up to this point, I don't even know why you're here. But if you don't care about spoilers, that's cool too. You know what I'm saying? Let me get some my guests in here. My boy Chillmonger, first time on the channel.
That's right. Eren
Y'all
Yeager.
and I got my you definitely seen him before on the channel on the Perp Show and other streams, the Black Guru.
What's up? What's up? How you doing, Perk? Chill.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's oh man. Yo, it's been a crazy fucking day because I stayed up all last night and I saw what was it? They had like this panel, whatever. It was like over in Japan. I couldn't like understand a lick of what they were saying because there was no subtitles, but they didn't show nothing really. So I was like, oh man, they really not going to like announce nothing. So I'm sleeping. I'm literally dreaming about this shit, and literally I wake up and see the news that like they're gonna have a part 2 for season 4 and stuff. I was like, word, yes. And we can kind of talk about that later on towards the end of the stream. Um, but yeah, let me see what's up in the chat. Tony J, salute. Ty Smith, Shogun, Charmaine, salute. Yeah, man. Got like 7 people watch. Okay. So yeah, so we're gonna pretty much like kind of just break down or just give our thoughts on the last few episodes, episode 11 through 16. Um KDOT should be showing up soon. So I'm gonna jump him in here once he pops up in the back. But we can go ahead without him. Starting with episode 11. Pull this up real quick. Episode 11. This kind of is picking up where we left off last time, where Aaron and the scouts are coming back from Marley, and there's just chaos kind of brewing in between, just like the scouts and people at Paradise and the people at Paradise and stuff like that. And this is where you get the episode where Gabby and Falco kind of make their escape, which I had a feeling like if you had people from Garrison, watch them, they're going to be trash anyways. Everybody from Garrison besides Pixis is trash. You know,
True.
so Gabby and Falco end up running into Sasha's family, which this is what I kind of liked about this whole entire episode. Kind of like we got two kind of different parallels with two different kind of characters. We got the chick that Mikasa saved in the first season, being a scout in this, and you got Kaya, which she looked up to Sasha and stuff. I like those parallels, but I kind of want to get y'all thoughts on this episode as a whole, starting with Chillmonger.
I want to jump ahead because you mentioned that girl that Mikasa saves early in like what season 1 was it? If this character is still prevalent and nothing happens for nothing in the show, as we know, this is where I want to jump ahead. Falco, we learn, gets a little bit of the spinal fluid inside of him. That's not for nothing. He's going to be a Titan, and I'm sure he's going to eat somebody and get the power. So he'll eat the Founding Titan, Colossal Titan, Beast Titan. He'll eat somebody.
Okay. I got K-Dot. What up, Doc? What up, Doc?
What up? What up? Can you guys hear me good?
We hear you.
Yeah. Actually, let me back this up a little bit before we get Guru's point on this, like his perspective on this. I want to ask you, Chill, because I always ask people this, like, what kind of got you into Attack on Titan, and like, what I'm saying, as a whole.
I began it years ago, like when it started, 2014-ish? It was on Netflix, so I binged
So I
the
think
whole thing.
2013.
13. When I saw that, the history of everything, the way that they have walls, the way it's kind of like a zombie apocalypse thing, the way that the Titans are this brand new threat. It's not like something I've seen before. So the originality of it stuck out to me. It's creative, but it's also cool. Like, you know, Spider-Man flips around. The way that they use their gear is unique to me, and I'm getting something that's new. They threw a whole lot of characters at me, but now 4 seasons into it, everything was meaningful and purposeful. So I'm not even mad at that. It's very rewarding to watch.
Okay. Yeah, man. I can't really remember like what. I think it was my brother's friend that got me into Attack on Titan. He's like, "Yo, check it out." I was like, "Okay," and I just binged it in one day. But it's very like it's just all a blur right now. But going back to episode 11, Guru, what's your thoughts on this? Because I know you have some interesting thoughts.
My thoughts are, fundamentally, when we talk about season 4 of Attack on Titan, I have one major issue, and that issue is Gabby as a plot protected character. And this episode actually gave me hope. And like Chill said, flash forward a little bit, that hope was stolen. But once I love this episode because it gave me hope that there was a character in the show that was reasonably hell-bent on potentially revenging the death of Sasha. That's the problem that I have with this episode so far, or excuse me, this season, in regards to Gabby specifically. The fact that it doesn't seem as if anybody wants to avenge her death.
Agreed.
Everybody, even people close to her, her comrades, everybody keeps coming up with excuses why not to kill Gabby. Niccolo tried, right? But he was saved. Gabby was saved by your boy. But fundamentally, there's no retribution directed towards Gabby. So she continues to keep skating and moving along the story and finding herself in very precarious situations, front row seats to some of the stuff that happens. To me, it seems illogical. Also, it subverts the depth of Sasha, which was such a big moment, in episode 8. So I love this episode simply because it kind of gave me hope as far as a character who will potentially avenge the death of Sasha.
Okay.
Quick thing, Perp. Could I comment off of Black Guru real quick? Because he brought up something really good.
Go ahead.
This goes into my whole thing when I've been doing my reactions. This has been my thing since episode 5 when we saw Eren do what he did to Marley. And I said it, and it was true. Paradise has gotten very soft. Very, very soft. And Gabby is the example of how soft they have gotten. And just like Black Guru brought up, all of Sasha's closest friends, Mikasa, Armin, Connie, and they're all just... Armin's different. He's not going to just kill to kill. He wants to have a reason to do it. But Mikasa, Connie, and them are all like so lenient with Gabby. I'm honest. Gabby should have been thrown off that little aircraft the same episode she shot Gabby. I mean, she shot Sasha. That's when she should have been gone.
And now you start to see the difference between, like, we'll get into the Jaegerists and the people, like, I guess you could call them the people at Paradise or the scouts. You know what I'm saying? Because, Flock is just on a power trip. He's just ready. He just wants, he wants all the smoke at this point. But he went from being a side character to a main character pretty much now. It's just it's crazy. But
I kind of saw it in Flock to do that because he said, remember in episode 5, sometimes because he was gassing up what Eren was doing. He was like, we need a devil at times to, we need a devil to get the job done. Sometimes we got to go down that path. I'm not saying everyone should go down that path, guys. That's what Flock said.
And Yelena won't allow everybody to go down that path either. If she hears you saying wild stuff like the guy who called Sasha a devil. Yeah.
Yeah, see, like Guru, if Yelena was around Gabby, she'd probably catch a bullet. I'm pretty sure like Yelena would hesitate. But let's go over to episode 12, where we see the kind of the rise of the Jaegerists and stuff like that. They blow the fuck up. They blow the fuck out of fucking Zachary and whatnot. He's fucking dead because he was already on some suspect shit, like trying to like he was going to pretty much kill Aaron without him like knowing the stuff. He was going to pass the Titan like he's going to pass the Titan off to somebody else because nobody knew what he was trying to plan, what he was planning. Nobody trusts Zeke, and there's like, oh, whose side is Aaron on? And possibly, things could have possibly been avoided if Armin and Mikasa were to talk to Aaron at that time. But it is what it is. And this is where Aaron makes his escape, and he goes looking for Zeke and whatnot. I just want to kind of get your thoughts on this. Start with K-Dot.
Episode 12. This was probably one of the most interesting episodes as we actually seen, and we seen prior to this. The people of Paradise, gassing up Aaron, saying that we want Aaron to be our new leader. They want to follow behind Aaron, and I like that Aaron in this episode took on to his new position, but I don't think this is the thing about it, and this is why I like everyone that are the citizens in this show. In this episode, want Aaron to be their type of ruler, king, or whatever. But at the end of this all, and Aaron, you can see it in his eyes or whatever in this episode. He's like, "Yeah, I'll play this false god you want me to be that y'all think I am for now. But when it comes down to it, I won't be this king you guys want me to be. I'm just here to get the job done and get rid of all these Titans." But Aaron's not saying none of this stuff. He's just going along with it because I feel like he's still even then he's still tricking the Jaegerists because the Jaegerists really think Aaron is going to be some type of king that they think he's going to be. Yeah. He's not, and I like that Aaron is still, even at this moment, is still playing them because we know he is not going to be no king. He doesn't favor any of that. He just wants to get rid of the Titans. But we come to find out about that later. But this episode, even Aaron is double crossing and double crosses, and I like that shit.
Right. Guru, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, this was the first episode I started to suspect. I started to look at Armin a little bit funny because he kind of got dwarfed. Normally, Armin in previous seasons, he was one of the most astute members of the Scouts and of Paradise, period. So with all these little plots and plans going on around him and him not being able to sniff anything out, not anticipating moves of particular factions and things of that nature, this is when I first noticed that, hey, Armin, like, where is Armin this season? Like, he turned into the Colossal Titan back in Marley. Okay, cool. But we haven't seen Armin as we have grown to love him this season. So, and this was the first episode where it was just kind of more blatantly obvious that his mental keenness was not on display because he's getting caught off guard left and right and people are sneaking all around and he's not even aware of it, which is unlike Armin. I can see everybody else not being aware, but it's unlike Armin to not be aware of certain things.
I think
I'm glad that you brought that up and hold on to that thought because I feel like that's going to go into something later. But is that like all you have to say, or you have any thoughts on Zachary's death and stuff?
Zachary's death, I mean, like you say, he was doing some snake shit. I'm not tripping on that. I love the shot. There was some complaints online about the Aaron throwing the jacket on shot, that it wasn't animated properly. I thought it was good. Mappa, I'll give them a passing grade ultimately for this season. Definitely not an A or a B, but I'll give them a C+. The last two episodes were animated very well, but I think this episode and the next, there was some real bad scenes of animation, like some real poor facial artwork that I noticed. So those are the things that stand out about this episode to me.
Yeah, I know. You point out the Pixis thing. Yeah, I've noticed that the Megamind, like a lot of people pointed that out. Like sometimes like it's kind of gone away now, but like just in this specific episode, like it's so like noticeable that like his head was like swollen. Shit was big as fuck. Like, but Chillmonger, what's your thoughts on episode 12?
So this is the episode that began with Armin down with Annie, right? And
Yeah.
we're gonna hear Annie's name pop up a couple more times during this show. And again, nothing is for nothing. That's for a reason. I'm sure someone's gonna eat Annie, especially where we are now. But we'll get to there. Also, the people all saying, "Give your hearts, Jaeger is this and that." This shows you why you gotta compartmentalize information. They just got this intel that Paradise is even called Paradise. They didn't even know what it's called. But now all these people living there all of a sudden have these thoughts and know the direction we should be going. That's a reflection on how in real world we actually keep things really private. You and I know nothing about what's happening, our country leaders.
Yep.
Next, this is where Mikasa declares herself an Eldian. She's talking to Lady Kiyomi, is it?
Yeah,
Right.
Azumabito, something like that. Yeah.
So she distinguishes herself as that. Now, something I don't like about this show is the family stuff. I think they take it too far. I didn't love that whole Historia arc. They made it work, but actually, we'll get there when we get to that next episode. And you guys know what I'm going to say, right? With her family declaring what she is.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts, K-Dot?
No, I'm good.
All right, now we get these next few episodes. This is when things start to get really heated and personal, and we start to get somewhere with things. In episode 13, this is like the with Children of the Forest, and this was an interesting episode because you have Gabby and Falco popping back up, and they're with Sasha's family. They're all, and what's his name, Nicholas.
Niccolo.
I keep messing up, like mix up his name, Niccolo, and he's cooking all of them a big ass dinner and stuff. And he looks nervous for some odd reason, and Falco and Gabby decide to go down to the cellar to follow him. And I rewatched the scene, and Kaya kind of made like a kind of weird look towards them, like she felt like something was up with them. But they're down in the cellar and they're talking to Niccolo and stuff and whatnot. And Gabby starts to talk too much and lets it out that like, yeah, I was the one that bodied Sasha, saying like, and not knowing that
Niccolo actually put it together that Sasha killed, that Gabby killed Sasha. She didn't say it, but he pieced it together.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, you're the people that came over here, blah blah blah, and you know what I'm saying. Yeah. And he goes to grab the wine bottle, and and shouts to K-Dot because he called this like before this episode came out that like there's something up with the wine. It either had like spinal fluid in it or something like that. Shouts to K-Dot for that, you know what I'm saying. But so he goes to grab the wine bottle and cracks him over the head. Goes to crack Gabby on the head, but then Falco's simp ass gets in the way and gets he catches the bottle. It's just like poor Falco, man. Like I understand people, like a lot of people don't like Falco and he's just guilty by association, but it's just like, damn, he's got to realize, man, this shit ain't worth it. Like it's like, is Gabby really worth like going through all this struggle for? I don't know, but then Niccolo proceeds to like take both the kids and drag them out to Sasha's dad and stuff and their family and say like, this is the person that killed Sasha and whatnot. And this was a really interesting scene here because like you would think that Sasha's dad would want to kill the person that killed Sasha and whatnot, and he doesn't really have that like hatred in his heart. He's mad, but like at the end of the day, it's still a kid, so he's not like that. He's not that far gone, and I always go back to season 2 when he's talking about the whole forest and stuff. That kind of, if you go back and watch that episode with Sasha and stuff, like he always like brings up the forest and whatnot. So, but anyways, I'm gonna kind of get your thoughts on this, starting with Chillmonger.
I didn't know Falco was so hated compared to Gabby. Falco's somewhere in between what Gabby is. He's almost what Raynor is, except without the craziness. He's like a Berthold.
Yeah.
But I can see Falco switching sides and becoming one of the heroes, especially with the relationship he's got with Eren Yeager.
Yep.
Gabby is gone, though. Gabby's talking about how if we can just conform to the ways of Marley, then they'll accept us, and this is how we run things. But no, it's
Yeah, like that's what's interesting about Falco's character as well, is that like he understands, like if he was never down there in that cellar with like Reiner and Eren, he would probably be, even though he kind of was already like kind of iffy, he wasn't completely like brainwashed by like Marley like that, but like he understands the situation and stuff better than Gabby, most definitely. But continue.
which Titan is Falco in line to get?
He was trying to get the armor. He was trying to get the armor Titan.
Yeah, armored.
Okay.
But this is the thing. Chill. Gabby is more likely eligible, but Reiner for sure is going to try and override that, because as you seen in episode 4, remember he told Falco that, you know, if you protect Gabby, I'm gonna make sure you get the armored Titan. So Reiner's not really supposed to give him the Titan because he's not really that eligible for it. But it looks like he's going to over Gabby.
Do you guys like the spinal fluid thing? Because apparently they took a whole lot of nations down with putting it in the wine. Do you guys think that's a
that's a cool war tactic like to use, because you don't see it really coming, and as we'll get into like the next episode, that like he kind of told a fib to people that you're supposed to freeze up when you have it or some shit like that. But before we get into anything, I want to get Guru's thoughts on this episode.
This episode here, I mean, you know, I speak about this frequently because it's actually what I'm most passionate about in regards to season 4. And it's the fact that Gabby did not get what was coming to her multiple times in this episode. I think this episode best frames my frustration with the Gabby situation. Now, overall, let me be clear, I enjoyed the episode. One of my favorite episodes of the season. Definitely one of the most memorable. But with that being said, you know, we start off with Niccolo not being able to strike Gabby and get his retribution. Then the knife, you know, they're brought upstairs. The knife is handed over to the father. The father goes on this Dr. Martin Luther King speech about how the children should be protected and all this bullshit. So I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. So then he puts the knife down. Now I guess everybody has, you know, found peace based on his speech. The only character I believe who have sense, the girl who Sasha saved, grabs the knife, swings around the corner, and is about to stab Gabby in the fucking head. And
MVP.
Yeah, and then she's stopped by Mikasa. Okay, but here's the more the bigger problem for me. Mikasa turns and asks Gabby, "Are you hurt?" Wait, what? Isn't she like? What, isn't she an escaped murderer of a scout? Like, I can understand maybe saving her life from sudden death, but then you ask her, is she hurt? And then when they go into the table to have the conversation, ultimately when Eren walks in, you know, Gabby,
which was a great moment, by the way, like where he just pops up like, oh shit,
it.
like,
oh, it was so perfect. I love it. Like I said, this is one of my favorite episodes. But there's a moment there that, you know, I always reference this moment when I talk about my Gabby issue, and it's the fact that Gabby was like, well, you know, you guys are going to kill me, aren't you going to kill me? And Mikasa's like, no, we're not going to kill you. And then Gabby's basically like, why? And Mikasa's like, well, I don't know why, we're just not. And right there, that's when I knew that line of dialogue proved to me that Gabby's just simply plot protected, because there's no logical reason for Mikasa not to kill Gabby. She does have a logical reason to kill Gabby, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that right there just showed me like she's just simply plot protected, and they're just, you know, parading her around, and she's not getting any retribution, which is frustrating for me to continue to watch that.
I would, to counter that though, kind of, because I don't think they would be able, like, I don't think the way that they kind of phrased that, I don't think that Mikasa or Armin would want to kill a kid. You know, like I said, that goes back to the whole
She's
like
a
the difference.
soldier, not a kid, bro. That's why I don't understand either. She's
I know, I,
a soldier, not even a soldier. She's one of the most capable soldiers in Marley.
but no, I understand. But like, if they were to show like in past seasons that she wouldn't be afraid to like kill no kid or nothing like that, that's why they were kind of shocked that Aaron was like did what he did because he's like, oh, you realize what you just did? You just killed women and children and stuff like that. And that goes back to the like, people are kind of split in like what's right or what's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that goes back to the whole going into episode 14. But before getting into that, K Dot, what's your thoughts on episode 13 as a whole?
Episode 13 as a whole. Well, I'll say it's about episode 13. Best thing about this episode, seeing Niccolo sock Gabby in the face. And just as I realized, this episode made me realize it. And you just said it. Falco is trying so hard. At this point, I think he likes Gabby. Let's keep it a buck.
He does. He been like Gabby.
But see, this is the thing. Every time he tries to help her, this dude gets hurt. Every time he tries to help this woman, this girl, he gets beat up and hurt. But hey, I mean, in the next episode, when we get to it, Falco is trying to help her find the logic in things and not go off of too much emotion. But this man's just getting beat up. But off of that, Niccolo, this is the thing. I don't dislike his character at all, but for them to like kind of introduce a new character like this that we haven't seen. This is the first time we've seen this character, right? Season 4, and I'm like, to make him a sort of love interest of Sasha out the gate, just out of the blue, because you would think that would be kind of like maybe Connie's plays, or maybe they would develop something romantic. But
her and Connie, like Sasha and Connie, like they already said that they're like kind of like twins. So it's like,
yeah. I'm just saying, it's just I wasn't feeling the whole him liking her part, but I understood why he would probably be mad because because look, this girl embraced his cooking and stuff, said a lot of great things about him and all this stuff, and he wanted to do right by her and try and honor her by taking Sasha's life. But what he did was he wanted to respect the family and let the family do the business. But as Black Gruber said, that MLK shit, bruh, nah. But see, this is the thing. I understood why the dad did that. Because, Perk, we talked about this earlier. I think the dad is one of the few new people in Paradise that want to stop the cycle of hate and shit.
Yeah, like that's what
he wants to stop the cycle. And that was his moment of, we're going to stop the cycle. We're not going to continue this, killing kids and shit, using kids as tools and criminal, and using kids as tools for war. He wants to stop the cycle, and I noticed that within that speech.
And real quick, I got that in the speech. I accept that from the father, right? I'm not really too much blaming him for giving that speech. I'm actually okay with the speech, right? Yeah. From the idea that it offers a good perspective. It's just, it seems from a storytelling perspective, however, they keep passing the buck down on the retribution that Sasha is supposed to receive. So I
feel you, Black Girl. I agree.
On Gabby's supposed to receive. So Connie decides on the airship he doesn't want to do it, and then we get a Niccolo not being able to do it at the moment. He passed the buck to the family. The family passes the buck and denies killing her, and then Mikasa denies it, and then Aaron, I don't want to shoot too far, but we see like who was responsible for getting back what happened to Sasha. Like who's gonna pick up that mantle? At some point, somebody's got to pick up that mantle. Otherwise, her death was for nothing. And I'll probably talk about this a little bit later. One of my overall things about the season has to do with a death not being honored properly, but we'll talk about that later.
If Gabby turns to the good team, which I don't see happening, I don't want to happen, then the death wasn't for nothing. But the way that everyone's passing it off, this is an Eldian trait. The people in Marley, the women and children we're talking about who died, you think any of them would think this way? They're too brainwashed saying, The devil's in paradise. They're too hateful. So when you say that the kids died and that Eren should feel bad about it, not really. If a bunch of horrible people died, then the world isn't better for it. So I don't really have that much sympathy, and I can forgive Eren easily for killing Marlians.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
And then the episode 13 ends off with everybody pretty much being held hostage. You know, you got Flock with his that crazy ass look that he gave Hanji and stuff like yeah, now I'm a main character, bitch. Like blah blah blah. You know, and then you got
shouts out to the Ken doll putting in work.
and then you got Eren popping up on Armin and Mikasa. It was perfect. Like the way Armin was like, yeah, kill this, kill that. You sound like somebody I know. And then Eren pops up, like waves his hand, like saying, hey guys, like don't move. I just want to talk. You know, it's just like, bro, that shit was crazy.
And Gabby was sitting right there, and Gabby didn't say anything. And Gabby, whose whole every episode she's in, Eren Yeager, he's right there. Do something, Gabby. We're waiting, Gabby.
Chill. You want to know what it was? She's the people that bark, but they're not ready for the action. All that talk, and when Eren is finally in right next to her,
I think for that,
speak up.
Because I know Guru brought this up as well. I think it's because of like the previous episodes, her mind is kind of changing. Because if she never like interacted with Sasha's like peoples and gone through all this shit, and you know she had that hatred still on her. Like it's kind of like a light switch. It like flips off and on at will and stuff. But let's get to the mind you, at this time, you know, Zeke and Levi are out in the woods somewhere. You know, Zeke is sitting there pretending to read while like Levi's just looking at him and just we're gonna get into it. Episode 14. This was one of my favorite episodes.
Right back. Give me like a minute. I'll be right back. Go ahead.
No problem. Now we get like a little family sit down with Eren, Mikasa, and Armin, and this was great. And you know, Aaron's just literally just telling them the truth, like the hard truth about themselves and stuff. And I feel like there's a reason for it. That goes to something that Jean said in episode 16, where like he wouldn't have done it without reason. Like if he was being like manipulated by somebody or some, I'm like paraphrasing right now, but he first goes to Armin and tells him about like, oh, you're not in control. He goes off with saying like, oh, he's free. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. And he's just like laying into him, like really getting personal. Tells Mikasa, I hate you. You guys are nothing but slaves type of shit. Like with your based off their mentality and stuff. And that really pisses off Armin and stuff. And Armin goes to swing at Eren, and Mikasa stops him. And that just proves Eren's point of like the whole Ackerman backstory, like how, you know, they're essentially like Eldian experiments and shit, and they're meant to protect the king and stuff like that. So, and that makes it makes sense, because like how they broke down like who, like if an Ackerman finds their host, whatever, they're attached to that person. You know, so you know, you could say Levi's host was like
Kenny?
Erwin. No, like was Erwin.
Oh.
Because you know what I'm saying, that was kind of his, like, you know, that was his person. You know, Mikasa's person was like Eren. But, you know, before we get into everything else in this episode, what do you guys think about this whole sit down that they have? I want to start with Chillmonger.
The sit down to me was the writer solving the issue of, the main character just turned heel. So they did make us, they brought Eren back. That's what they did with us. I just hate that it's family related. I hate that everyone has their own destiny, and Mikasa is programmed to stop Armin from punching Eren, but she couldn't do anything when Eren was punching out Armin. While it protects Eren's philosophy and it makes Eren look like a decent guy with a plan and who's actually right, it hurts the story for me, because I like Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't need everyone to be a Skywalker or from the species that Yoda is. Just give me brand new. Give me uniqueness. Don't give me Rey Palpatine.
Okay.
Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, but you mean Ray Skywalker.
Actually, I meant Rey Palpatine.
Yeah. But no, I'm
go ahead, Guru.
Yeah, I'm with him 100% on that. I had problems with this episode for a different reason. Well, similar premise, but for a different reason. It's because when Aaron has the conversation at the table and he breaks everything down, and like you said, it is the writers kind of establishing the fact that Aaron is now a heel. You know, he's a bad guy character now. However, my problem with it was so much unknown. So at the end of the episode, I was extremely frustrated in two things. One, how the metaphysics of how Titans work, right? We still haven't had a clear explanation as to why Mikasa is programmed to protect and how Zeke can use his spinal fluid to transform people at will and all these sorts of things. So the metaphysics of the Titans' abilities and superpowers or whatever hasn't been thoroughly explained. But we're resolving plot with that at this point. We're using that to move the plot forward and resolve certain issues. So now as a viewer, I'm kind of frustrated because it's like I don't know that. Also, what I don't know, which really conflated the issue, is I didn't know the relationship between Zeke and Aaron. Like, what are their motivations? We didn't know at the end of this episode. We didn't know Zeke's motivation. We didn't know Aaron's motivation. We still really don't know Aaron's motivation or his true plan, I should say. So, so now we don't know people's plans, right? We don't know Zeke's plans. We don't know Aaron's plans, but they're playing out. We just don't know what's going on, and we don't know the metaphysics completely of how Titan powers works. So we don't know what's going on, who's capable of what. Are people getting other people's memories? Are people controlling other people from the past? Like, we don't know any of that shit's going on. And I was very frustrated to see Armin get beat up by Aaron, and I don't really know what the fuck is going on. So I remember at the end of this episode, I completely demanded that we must know as soon as possible something about the plans and something about the backstory to fill us in on what we just saw.
And Guru, what's like? But Guru, I told you like earlier, I was like, yo, Armin needed that. He needed that ass whooping. Like, he needed that one. But yeah, like but based on what we got on next episode, we'll get to that. It makes sense now why Zeke and Aaron keep that so close to the chest, because if that were to got out, that their plan, then yeah, people would try to kill them and transfer the Titans and stuff. Their plan wouldn't probably work out. But go ahead, K-Dot.
What I want to say, and Guru brought it up because I feel the same way too. I only knew this because I read some of it, but I'm not going to spoil nothing. But all I'm gonna say is this: I'm just gonna say it. I'm not spoiling nothing literally.
All right.
Part 2, when it gets to the backstory of the thing we always wanted to know, because they hinted at it in 16. And we'll talk about who that was. But when they explain, because you brought up a thing about how you don't know why Armin's doing what, and why even Aaron brought up to Armin, you're kind of getting close to Annie. You kind of feel like Bertold at times. When they get into that backstory, the big backstory, it's all going to explain that, because it's some crazy shit. It is some crazy shit. Oh my goodness. But part 2 is going to explain that for sure. I know that for sure. This part didn't do it. They showed it in the trailers, but part 2 is going to for sure explain all that. I thought part 1 was going to explain it, but sadly not.
Guru, you remember when you said like, Armin's not being Armin? And then we get to sit down where, Aaron's like, yo, like, I think you got a little bit too much of Bertolt in you and stuff. And I think they're kind of like, I don't know. You got to wait to see how it plays out. But I think there's something to that.
No, I think it's safe to say that that's what that's leading to. That's leading to Bertolt's feelings and everything coming out. And that's what the Annie relationship is for.
I'm okay with all that, right? Mm-hmm. But at this point, episode 15 or 14, whichever one we're at the end of this episode, all of this is unknown. So I basically just watched, and I said this when I did a review of this episode. I basically just watched an entire episode where the character motivations are completely unknown. So I really just watched what would essentially be a flash forward or a flashback to another story. Because I'm like, if you don't tell me what Zeke's plan is, if I don't know what Zeke's plan is, I don't know what Aaron's plan is. I don't know the metaphysics of the Titans. I don't know what Titans are capable of fully. How does this episode make any sense to me? How can you make sense out of this episode other than the fact that, the end, obviously the battle and the wine stuff makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as why is Aaron attacking his best friends, right? That's a big deal. That's a
that is a big deal.
Aaron attacking and humiliating his best friends, and he does this, and I have no idea why. That was frustrating to me because I'm like, how do I make sense of this character doing these things later? Now, as I sit here now watching the finale, I feel better about it, but at the end of the episode, I didn't.
Okay,
Tyrese, I don't think Aaron is being influenced by Grisha, but also I want to get into the metaphysics of the Titan stuff. So it feels like there's a range that the Beast Titan's call could do because he turned everyone in that forest into a Titan. And then everyone back home kind of said, I felt a shock. What was it? They said they felt a jolt, right?
Yeah. I talked to this about Guru, like, yo, how powerful is that roar? And like, is it more powerful when he's in his Beast Titan form? Like
all of the Conies, that city, all of those people turned.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to believe he did the wine trick over there also?
No, he used that gas that had the spiral fluid.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But speaking of which, because I don't want to skip over that, Levi versus the Beast Titan. I guess this was officially round 2. Because a lot of people say it's round 3, but I would say this is more of a round 2.
Yeah, this is round 2.
I'm gonna start with Guru with this one. You know what I'm saying? Give your thoughts on just this fight.
I mean, Levi's
overall
my favorite character. Levi's my favorite character in the show, hands down, right? So, I just love how it was done. I've actually watched this a couple of times, this fight, simply for the entertainment value of it all. It's just so heroic and it's so Captain Levi. The fact that Zeke believes he's escaping, he's working on his plan, he's trying to mastermind shit, and all of a sudden you see that ODM gear shoot by his face, and you see Zeke, you see Levi coming in. And then Zeke's face is like, "Oh shit!" Like he knew his ass was about to get fucked up.
Because he thought like, oh, he was gonna kill his own comrades and shit. I was like, you don't know Levi, like
right. And
what reason does Levi have to not kill them? Have we ever seen a Titan turn back into a man? The only one we've ever seen is Ymir because she ate the Jaw Titan, right?
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I like that they keep the fights very quick. Like this is what will happen like realistically. Like it would just be over just like that. I think it was dope seeing Zeke like rip these Titan body parts apart and just throw them up and just like that shit was fucking crazy.
That him ripping the Titan body parts was just so good. It's just so villainous and shows the desperation. But what that does is that. What I love about that scene mostly is the home field advantage that Levi had in those trees, and that's why he took him there. And we got to see that home field advantage play itself out. And the fact
those
that,
branches.
Yeah, one, just to your point, he didn't have any rocks to throw, so he had to rip what he had. With
Good point.
Titans just to throw it because he didn't have his rocks. So now the Beast Titan is at that disadvantage, and then to see, like you said, Levi come through. Use the branches, use the trees, use the height, fall down behind the trees to ultimately deliver that blow with the Thunder Spears. I mean, it was just so excellent to watch. It was a premier Levi moment for me.
Also, when Zeke's trying to escape from the forest, he was talking like he's like, "Yo, I wish I could tell you, Levi, like exactly what's going on, but you wouldn't believe me," and stuff, whatnot. So, yeah, but that whole scene was masterfully done. Like I love that shit. K-Dot, how do you feel about the fight between Levi and Zeke this time around?
Epic fight. I understand. This is the thing. and I think it goes with Mappa using the CGI to get things done faster and not have to animate everything. And you see it. There was really no. My issue is no CGI, but my issue was that you kind of see the shortcuts with the action sequences. Like, I wish we could have saw Levi mess up all those Titans, even though we know Levi could mess up all them Titans. Remember when he bodied all his friends? But they kind of just showed it off screen and fast forwarded past that. But when you get to the Levi versus Zeke fight, this dude Zeke was throwing blood. I was like, what the fuck? You're throwing blood like bullets, bro. Not even flesh, just blood. Throwing it like bullets. And you know, I doubt that blood was gonna hurt Levi, but that shit was
one thing I'll say about the Beast Titan CG, he looked the best in this episode compared to the previous ones. So I feel like they kind of blended it better and whatnot. But yeah, I think
if they did more close-up shots and then didn't show like the whole body. Like if you notice, every angle was very close up on him. Like when he threw the blood, it wasn't showing his full body fully CG animated, but it just showed parts.
And I'm glad that Guru brought up that he didn't have rocks, because that's gonna go into the next episode and stuff like that, talking about how the Beast Titan on the battlefield isn't really useful in certain cases. But I'm gonna get Chill's.
I don't know about quick thing, Perp. I don't know about that, because remember at the end of season 1, I think that was a season. It was probably season 1 or 2, whatever. No, I think season 2 ending when Zeke beat up Reiner. We saw Reiner beat up.
Yeah, but Reiner's always getting his ass whooped, yo. Like Reiner always getting his ass whooped, like clockwork, bro. He can't beat none of the Jaegers, bro. Like, but Chillmonger, what's your thoughts on the fight itself?
The fight itself was awesome. Yeah, it was quick, but it was also realistic, like you said earlier. There's parts that they didn't have to show, which was Levi killing all of his people, because it gave us a surprise factor later when Zeke couldn't believe that Levi was still behind him. So while it wasn't heavy in action, the emotion that they put in there worked out.
Right.
So the spear little trap thing that he has, if you move your ankle, what's the rules? If you move your knee, then the spear pillar will explode.
That's
right?
that's where the episode ends off, and he yells out.
This is also the episode where Flaw.
Yeah, he had it around his neck. That's right.
Yeah, he had it rigged to his neck, and if he moved, well, Chill, you still want to go? Because I did want to say something, because you brought it up about the Thunder Spear thing.
Go ahead.
So this episode, all right, I didn't like that, and this just goes into how characters are being portrayed and used. I was okay with Levi torturing Zeke and shit and doing that, but the decision of him doing something like putting that Thunder Spear, attaching it to him, and if he moves, it's going to blow up. But this is the thing. I have no issue with that. My issue is that doesn't sound like a Levi thing to do. That sounds like a suicidal thing to do.
No, that's definitely a Levi thing to do, bro. Like Levi.
And I'll explain.
I see what you're talking about. Go ahead.
I'll explain it, because he's on a horse carriage, right? Let's say he by mistake bumps into a little rock or some shit. Carriages old as shit, bump into something. If Zeke slightly moves, he's boom. Levi's dead too. I'm just saying, Levi put himself in a situation that was like, you gotta chill. I think he was just better off just cutting off his torso, his legs and arms, and he would have been good. He'd have to do
he's been wanting to make him suffer, especially what he did to his comrades and stuff. He definitely wants them to suffer. Like
now, and I wanted to because Chill kind of mentioned this, but he backed off of it earlier. But it does beg the question. I think the bigger issue here is why doesn't Levi just go ahead and kill Zeke as he promised Erwin he would do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we keep getting some of this weird storytelling, in my opinion, because it's like, logically speaking, somebody should be dead. Logically speaking, something should happen, but we're kind of prolonging the inevitable in a lot of cases, just to kind of kick the can down the road a little bit. So I have a problem, and I'll go ahead and say
But wait, Guru, you remember when they're in the what was it, what the fuck is it, the blimp, whatever, and they're having that conversation. He's like, I like to savor my kills and stuff like that and whatnot. So I think that goes back to that whole conversation. Like he wants him to suffer before he kills him.
I get it. I understand it.
Yeah, but I feel what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. So he got the whole thunder spear attached to his neck and shit like that, and Zeke just yells out, "What was it?" No. This is where he kind of starts talking. We get a little flashback of him playing catch with somebody, and he mentions the name Kasaver. I think that's what his name is, like Kasaver.
Yeah.
Tom. So let's just call him Tom. Just Tom. And this is where we get into episode 15, which I think was one of my.
Hold on, you skipped over the thing that Flock did, where he's like, "Okay, everyone who's signing up for the army,
Oh yeah,
you guys are Jaegerists." He tells them to show your resolve by beating up the coach, and I think that's going too far, Flock. That's what you were saying earlier, like where he feels like he's the main character now.
Yeah, he's on a little power trip, but yeah, like thank you for reminding me about that. Yeah, that was really fucked up. Like that kind of reminds me of like the Dark Knight in the Joker in the Dark Knight, where he's just like talking about tryouts and shit. Like he broke the stick and told people like, yeah, fight over this, like But Guru, what's your thoughts on that? With the scouts, the recruits beating up Keith.
Well, my thoughts on it is this is the earthquake episode, right? That Japan had an earthquake and we didn't get this last part, so we had to wait.
Yeah.
The thing about it to me, and I was about to say this moments ago, is Flock is interesting to me because he kind of makes a 180 from when we last see him in season 3. So he kind of went from this character who was very shallow, very cowardly, but somehow had a lot of reverence for Commander Erwin based on the bravery and things that they did out there fighting a Beast Titan. So for him to flip and be the character that he is now, I believe that there should be some sort of backstory or flashback to see how Flock went from the character we seen at the end of season 3 to the character that we see now. And you would think, and I could be wrong about this, but you would think that he would honor Commander Erwin. Like he holds Commander Erwin in high regard. I mean, at least he did so when he argued with Armin at the end of season 3. So you would think that going against the scouts and doing some of the things that he's doing would actually conflict with his beliefs. So I would like to see the story of how Flock goes from season 3 character to the character we see in these episodes.
Okay. How about you, K-Dot?
Well, for this episode, I'll say this to sum up this episode because I didn't get to say it yet because you guys brought it up. Best thing overall about this episode, and it goes back to I always go back to the ending of season 3 when Eren went to the beach and he revealed to Armin and Mikasa, we're still not free. And this episode, he brought that up again. He told them both. He basically said, you guys are both still slaves, but I'm free. And I like that he brought that up because it went back to my thing I've been talking about since season 3. Eren's idea of freedom is not just the whole, we chase the enemies away. They're kind of gone. His idea of freedom is, I will only feel free when I don't have to hide away from my enemy and have to look over my shoulder and not be worried about if Marley is going to send down bombs on us or shoot us or kill us in our sleep. His idea of freedom is being of no worries. That's basically his idea. And when he brought up to Armin and Mikasa, based on Mikasa, like, you are like Mikasa, you're programmed to be my slave. Because I guess that weird explanation when Eren drove her to go into attack mode, and she's sort of attached to him now, and that's Mikasa's fate. She's going to forever be his protector. That's her fate. So there's no dancing around that, and Mikasa can't really run from that. That's her fate. She's stuck as that. She's going to be serving. And for Armin, Armin is not Armin at this point, as we see. And I like that. I think it was Chilla Goo who brought it up about Armin talking to Annie and stuff. This is the thing. I don't even think it's really a Bertolt thing that he's talking to Annie. It's kind of weird that we see him going to visit Annie now in this season when we really didn't see this in prior seasons. I wish we saw this in other seasons to make sense of this whole new thing. I remember in season 1, there was an episode where the female Titan, Annie, met face-to-face with Armin, if y'all remember it, and she didn't kill Armin. But she knew who he was because Armin said to her in a prior episode when they was getting elected for their new roles that, Armin told Annie, you are a good person. You are generally a very good person. He gave her a compliment and stuff, and she received it.
So it's not Bertolt.
Yeah, so that's why I don't think it's fully Bertolt because I'm not sure if Bertolt likes Annie. Maybe, but I don't remember Bertolt being that interested in Annie like that. For this to happen, I think Armin already had a prior, some feelings there.
Yeah, there was definitely some feelings.
Like it was there, but I wish prior to this, in the seasons 2 and 3, you had moments of Armin going to go visit Annie and talking to her crystal because it only made sense because they had a little relationship. When he comes to find out, just show it. It was kind of random that he just all of a sudden goes to talk to her crystal and stuff in this season. Very random, but would it make sense if there was better development of it?
That doesn't fit for anime. You're right. It's like a live action show where they don't want to pay the actor to give them a scene here because then they'll have to get royalties for the movies for the rest of their. But this is animation. You just draw the person in. So yeah, it is weird that nobody visited Annie.
Yeah, yeah. They're saying for 2 seasons now. All of a sudden, it's. Especially Armin is saying how he's going about it. But, this whole episode just, and like I said, I was like, Aaron, why are you beating up on your friends? I was like, this is crazy. But I'm like,
Armin's ass, bro. That's just.
but see, look, I'm like this. There's a reason Aaron's doing this because in the end of all this, Armin and Mikasa and them are going to find a way to work it out. They're going to work it out by the end of this. I know they are. They're still going to fight. Like, I believe there's going to be a fight. They're still going to fight and go at it. But at the end of this, Aaron is still going to look at them as friends. But he had to tell them the truth. And that's why the truth is hard to hear for a lot of people. Everybody cannot handle the truth. And this episode proves not everybody can handle the truth.
So we know, because I was a little bit these are one of the questions I have when I talked about the metaphysics of the universe, of the Titan universe. Yeah. So what he told Mikasa, as far as her being predestined to always protect him, that's a fact?
It's a thing with the Ackermans. Because like the Ackermans, when it was bred, because they was tested on and experimented to be like Titan human hybrids, have the strengths and the abilities, but not the transformation. Her bloodline, but this is the weird thing. I think her bloodline specifically is supposed to protect royalty.
Right.
But Aaron's not royal. But Aaron's not royalty.
Exactly. That's why I said, hold up, Kate. That's why I said what I said. Because it doesn't make sense at this moment.
But wait,
why would he be because not just in this moment, because we had a brief conversation about this. Going back to when she initially protected him, when she got the red scarf, at the cabin.
Yeah.
He wasn't royalty then, nor was he the attack or the founding Titan. So why would she be predestined to protect him in that moment, knowing that he doesn't even have any of his Titan abilities? Not only that, like you just mentioned, he's not royalty. So what is this connection like? How does this actually work?
I would say it's still like the fact that he's an Eldian, and that's the connection there. But I think with the royal blood, something with the royal blood makes it stronger, the bond stronger, or something like that. But
So,
go,
remember, I said, remember when Kenny the Ripper threw the knife at the Fritz King?
yeah,
He tried to kill him. So, how are they destined to protect if Kenny can throw a blade at a Royal?
I guess because he didn't necessarily find his host. That's the whole thing. Like when she that that scene back in season 1 where Aaron's like killing shit and like she like kind of unlocks her powers and stuff, that kind of like activated it. That's when they find their host,
See, all
and
of
that's
this.
why
None of this has been explained on screen. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that.
they did talk about this like in, I think it was like season 3, but not like in depth or nothing like that. Like,
Yeah, they
you know,
mentioned it. You're right. They mentioned the
mhm.
Ackermans kind of having that affinity to protect. But I'm just saying, because I say this to say that I believe Aaron actually is toying with me, because as far as saying mean things to her to try to
Yeah,
get, but I think these things he's saying is untrue. I don't think he's saying facts just to
No,
piss
I
her
think
off.
it's true, especially when Mikasa interrupts Armin from punching. I think there is some truth to it.
Yeah, if there is truth to it, right? Because it can go either way. If there is truth to it, I can't see how it works, right? So I'm trying to figure out if she is truly programmed in that sense to where she'll jump in front of a bullet for Aaron, you know what I mean, or you know what I mean, figuratively speaking.
yeah.
Then how does that work, and why Aaron and why Mikasa? Remember, I said I left this episode mad at 2 things. I didn't know the Zeke Aaron backstory, and I didn't know the metaphysics. This is the type of stuff I was talking about. Like, you just introduced a whole new thing right here. That's a big introduction. Mikasa is programmed genetically to protect Aaron. That's a big deal. How?
Oh, that's
How?
hold on. Let me point out this comment that Shogun put up. He said Kenny's father said that the Ackermans couldn't be controlled, so it's a lot of different perspectives.
Yeah, so that's my thing. That's all I'm saying is simply, I say this to simply say that I believe it could be truth, right? He could be telling her the truth, but I could be he could be lying just to protect them, and distance them for some reason.
Yeah,
But
I go back to that whole train scene in season 2 where he like Ymir tells him like, yo, you gotta kill off your emotions and stuff, like your attachments and all that and stuff, and that's probably what he's doing, because he knows what he's about to do is fucked up, like with the rumbling and stuff and all that and everything. But
yeah, I agree. I'm just saying I
yeah.
questioned that scene, and I questioned that the validity of that statement he made to Mikasa.
Okay, so now going to episode 15, which I love this episode. We get the Zeke backstory. We find out that the Grisha is an asshole. He is Joe Jackson, without a doubt. He is Joe Jackson. He's a shitty father. Oh man, we just see the Zeke's whole backstory, and he was never really good at being this being a warrior candidate and whatnot, but somebody by the name of Tom saw promise in him, and this is kind of like the origins of where Zeke gets, the Beast Titan also gets those glasses. Because I've seen that been brought up a lot, like, yo, why does he, if he's a Titan and all this shit, why does he need glasses, yada yada. But this was a really dope emotional episode, because it definitely is an episode to make you sympathize for Zeke's character, because you realize like all he really wanted is like a father figure, not like Grisha, because Grisha put all this pressure on him, and he did know like the difference between the two stories and stuff that was told to him, like the Marley propaganda versus what was maybe true, what Grisha was talking about. Because I even think at points that Grisha kind of manipulates the story a little bit, but that's a lot for a little kid to fucking take in. So and we learned that he didn't like outright snitch his parents out.
I don't know about that.
It was Tom that told him. He's like, yo, you need to turn your parents in so it could save your grandparents' life, save this and yada yada yada. But this was pretty much Zeke's whole backstory episode and stuff. But I want to kind of get everybody's thoughts on this, and I'll start with Chillmonger.
No, like Tyree is saying, I do got to rewatch everything just so maybe I can understand Zeke's motivation for where he turned dark. But this didn't save him. The glasses story, I didn't need an explanation for. The pitching story, apparently he's got a love with baseball. He plays catch with Casaver.
Yeah, because with Tom. Yeah, Tom.
So if he was doing crazy shit like curveballs when he was killing Irwin and everyone back in season 3, if he was doing breaking ball sliders, okay, maybe we can introduce he's a pitcher and he has a background in pitching. But I know.
But now you understand why he was like, oh yeah, perfect game. He was using all these like baseball references and shit. And, like I was like, yo, that's kind of like this dude's like kind of sadistic and shit. And, like, but continue.
He was saying crazy stuff like that, right? Okay. See, that's what Tyree's saying. We got to rewatch the show and maybe I'll appreciate that a little bit more.
Also, like I always go back to when he's throwing those rocks, he's always talking to himself. He's like, "You're nothing like your father. You're nothing like your father." He always mentions that, or like whenever he told Aaron, like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come back and save you one day" and stuff like that. But continue.
Yeah, he's not stable. The countdown is on year number 12 right now, right? For Zeke.
Yeah, I think this would be his last year. Yeah.
Good. The last thing he was talking to his brother, his half brother Aaron. They did mention we shouldn't touch right now. I'd probably give you a high five handshake, and they didn't want to do it. Yeah. The last time Aaron touched someone, he got to see. What was it that he got to see?
He got Grisha's memories.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
When he touched someone of royal blood.
Did he touch Historia yet?
Yeah. That's what he touched at the end of season 3.
Yes.
That's how he got the memories of what his father did to the previous founding Titan.
The Fritz family. Yeah. And he mentioned that.
He wouldn't already know that? He wouldn't already know what Grisha knew?
No.
Okay, this is what I mean. This is what I mean.
Technically he should have.
Yeah. How would he not know what Grisha knows, but Armin knows what Berthert knows?
Well, it was never said like. Well, he only mentioned like. Well, they did establish like if you ate that person with Titan powers, whatever, you get their memories. But with Grisha, I think that activated a little bit more. He got Grisha's memory and something else probably, but yeah.
I mean, in Aaron's
that's when he really.
Go ahead, Perk.
But then that's when he really like things started to open up to him and stuff, and his personality started to kind of change after that.
Can you put Bryce's comment on where it says Zeke snitching or not wouldn't really have changed much because Marley already knew about the Eldian Restoration Group and was going to catch Grisha. I had no idea who the owl was. He was the one who was telling people to walk the plank. He was the one who really.
He was the original attack Titan. He was Aaron Kruger.
Yeah, no, I think I see where K-Dot going with that as far as or with the Bryce, I believe, because he's saying that they knew, so they would have found anyway. But if you don't know who the owl is, the owl could have been subverting their efforts to ultimately find them. So the owl was protecting that group. So even though they knew of them, they still had the owl to protect them. So that's not to say Grisha would have ever got caught, because the owl could have kept Grisha one step ahead of the entire Marley pursuit of the restorationists.
Yeah, that's why the owl, what he was doing was, even though he was an Eldian, he had to make the hard choices, and that was having to kill some of his own people to protect certain people that was keeping the movement alive. And you brought up Black Guru. I'll be honest, I don't have no explanation for how Armin can see some of Bertolt's memories, but Aaron can't see any of his father's, even when he had the Attack Titan. But I can't explain it because I don't know. Aaron's a weird case because he has the Founding and the Attack Titan
and the Warhammer.
Yeah, the Warhammer.
Aaron's a special case because he has the original Titan and another sub Titan. And I don't even think the original, the person who had the previous Founding had the case of having the original Titan and another form. I think they were just the Founding. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's weird, and it from the way you brought it up, it doesn't make any much sense of how Aaron doesn't see his father's memories since he was a previous Attack Titan, but Bertolt can see, the army can see Bertolt's. I can't explain it, so I'm just saying I'm not trying to cap for it and make excuses. I can't defend it. I just want to let you know.
Yeah, we just don't know. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, maybe there's a reason why. Like Chill been saying, this show they don't do anything for nothing. Even though Mikasa did get a tattoo out of nowhere that I'm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's which studio Wood's fault for not adding that in the first season, because that's actually in the manga and shit too.
Okay,
But
I'm with
yeah,
that, but if we're gonna set that up, we should be
yeah,
do more little signs of that symbol.
yeah. I think with that it was just like kind of just world building, like letting you know like what's going on in other nations and stuff. Like the whole Azumabito thing, that's like just kind of like off to the side type shit. Like she needs Mikasa, so they can get wealth and all this other bullshit. That's the only reason why she's there. But yeah, I understand. Like it's kind of just thrown in there.
And that storyline sucks to me. I that's the
Mhm.
one thing. I read about Gabby all night, but the one thing that I care least about is this whole Mikasa's clan stuff. Like, it's just like we got so much going on that Mikasa's family stuff. It just felt like one
And,
way too many. It just felt like one storyline too many. Like,
and
I
you know,
don't really care
and you
what
know what,
happens.
and you know what, I think Mikasa don't care neither.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think she gives a fuck. But
she's
yeah, this
playing.
but this is where we kind of see just how Zeke became the person he is, and like how this dude Tom has a huge influence on his life, and just that he's actually the father figure that he always needed or always wanted, compared to Grisha, where he just kind of forced him into this life, not really being a father to him and stuff. And we also find out what was said between Aaron and Zeke, and I think this is the first time they really, like, not the first time, but first time since like season 3 that they actually had like a conversation, and they're pretty much on the same page. And what's that fucking euthanasia?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ge-
euthanization.
Euthanization, yeah. So that's pretty much like what, like, just if for people that don't know what that is, anybody can explain.
Now,
Um. Oh, go ahead,
Go ahead.
but explain euthanasia.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it. Too.
Isn't it called like assisted suicide or a mercy killing?
It's. I mean, no. I think it's because it has to do with the births. I think it's basically,
Yeah, Zeke's whole plan is like he wanted to stop people from having kids,
But
Yeah.
non-violently.
yeah, not violently. But Aaron, on the other hand, he's just like, yeah, we just need to complete a genocide, and they're essentially on the same page as far as just like eliminating, Eldians completely. And that's why I said, like, if they were to tell anybody about that plan, they'd probably think they're crazy and stuff and
See,
whatnot.
that baffles me. So we're saying that Aaron's plan is to eliminate Eldians too. He wants to kill all Eldians too.
he wants it.
That's
So basically, Aaron's ultimate goal is to stop the production of Titans, and Eldians is the only race that will, become Titans, and that's where if and this is why Marley is even able. That's why Marley gives over the power, because when someone dies with the power, it goes back to an Eldian. It's just born inside the people. But see, this is the thing, Guru. Next part 2, they will explain the origins of how all this is. I thought they was going to do it this part, which they should have, because I think we deserve to know it. But when they do the big origin that we all need, that we all wondered, like how and why can these things become Titans? They're going to do that in part 2, and that's going to explain this, because it is confusing. It's confusing. It is.
Also, like, what all that would be left is the royal bloodline and stuff, and they would just keep passing around like the founding Titan, I guess, and stuff like that, and because like the founding Titan keeps like sort of how like the previous king was like, all right, I don't want no problems, no issues with nobody, so keep passing this down to the family. Don't let this get into the wrong hands.
That's
Then
Zeke's plan, though. That's Zeke's plan, which is kind of foolish. And because I mean, once everybody's euthanized, then they can do a mass scale genocide and just start killing people right away. Why wait 100 years for these people to die out naturally? Like you still could get a mass genocide and they would be completely defenseless. Like they could not turn into Titans, so they'll be completely defenseless against the worldwide assault. But even with that being said, that sounds like Zeke's plan. But my thing about Aaron is, if Aaron is the founding Titan himself, why would he want to wipe out other aliens? That'd mean killing Marley and all of these other, killing other aliens that he, scouts and shit like that, like people you're supposed to be cool with. So
but that's what he feels like that's the only way to get rid of all the Titans.
I feel like he's about to launch a Titan assault on the world to reestablish Titan dominance. That's what I think his motivation is. He's about to flip things so he can attack the world with Eldians, because he's
right. We talked about this too, Guru. That I feel like for the most part, Zeke thinks that Aaron is on the same page with him, but I feel like he can flip on him at any moment. He might have something else up his sleeve, because Zeke does know a lot about these Titans, but I also feel like Aaron knows a lot that he's not letting out. Like anytime anybody asks him about, like, oh, you know how the founding Titan powers work, I think he has a better grasp of it than most people. That's what's shown on screen. But we'll just have to wait and see. But I definitely think, he definitely has something up his sleeve. But continue.
Well, look, this is what I think. Guru, if I can chime off you real quick, as you are, it confused me too, but I can explain it this way. Aaron is at the point, and they brought this up in 15 to Zeke. He didn't say it how I'm going to say it, but I'm paraphrased. Aaron basically said that, Aaron basically said the best thing for us is to actually have not been born. He's saying that Eldians being born, because this thing, the Eldians is not they're from a very fucked up group of people, starting with the original king, the original king that started all this madness. They owe a lot of people, that whole group in general owe a lot of people some apologies for the fucked up shit they've been doing, raiding other countries and stuff, using Titans. But this is the thing. Aaron's at the belief of it all gotta go. Everything. But this is the thing with me. I think the rumbling is enough to put it into all this. But this is the thing. Aaron cannot ever know who the next founder will be. He doesn't know if the next founder will be a crazy guy that's going to do what the original king did and start conquering nations. So Aaron's like, it all got to go, because he can't trust the future generation and he cannot trust the previous generation. So he's like, all this power of the Titans got to go permanently. Aaron's looking for the permanent solution and not the temporary solution. He wants that permanent solution, just get rid of the power in general, and everyone goes back to the regular stuff, the regular means of doing what they need to do, not relying on Titan warfare and these extra supernatural abilities. He wants to take all that away.
So correct me if I'm wrong. If you're a Titan and you die, let's just say natural causes 12 years pass and you die. If nobody eats you, then the Titan ability that you were goes to just a random Eldian, right?
A random Eldian, But see, and Chillmark, I know you're confused because I'm still confused. But I read the thing that explains this, but I don't want to say it. But it's all going to make sense once they reveal it in part 2. It will make sense. You will be confused right now, and I understand. I don't blame you. But anyone who's an Eldian, the power goes to them randomly. It's like
one random Eldian. Now, in Marley, where they have Eldians mixing with Marleyans, you don't think that there was a little bit of integrate, some Eldian mixed with a Marleyan, and there's some secret Eldians living there. You want to tell me that's not happening? And how many generations of that has happened? Sorry. And how many Marleyans actually have Eldian blood in them? So if they actually do successfully do this euthanasia stuff, where he makes it impossible for Eldians to have kids, those half Marley, half Eldians are still gonna, slip through the cracks.
Yeah, or I think those half Marlins, half Eldians will feel the effects since they are half Eldian.
and they won't have kids. But the ones who are like not mixed will be good.
Yeah.
But you know, you're right. There's a bunch of cracks in this that doesn't work.
Yeah, he might
There's
not be
no
in range.
But see, this thing with the Marlians, because they always elect warriors to make sure that it's given somebody else.
Stays in Marley.
Yeah, keep it in the family type stuff. That weird shit.
Incest. Oh man. But yeah, so we get to the final episode for the foreseeable future. So we gotta wait a whole fucking year. I'm cool with that. We'll get into that later. Episode 16. And man, this cliffhanger is up there with like season 3 part 1's like cliffhanger, where you saw them all on the roof and stuff, and I was just like, man. But I feel like with this episode, they ended it at a perfect time. It was like it just left it like, because we know when it comes back, when we get to episode 17 and beyond, that it's gonna be probably back-to-back action scenes and all this stuff, and just it's gonna be straight hell. But we find out, forgot to mention, in episode 15, we go back to Levi and Zeke. And Zeke, as we're going through his backstory and stuff, he yells out Tom's name and stuff, and he just like, yo, guide me, help me, whatever the fuck, and blows up the carriage with Levi there. We don't know if Levi's dead. I don't think he's dead. I think he's pretty fucked up though. But Zeke, on the other hand, he's fucked up. He's like a whole torso. We get this fucking gnarly ass scene of this Titan that walks up to him, rips its stomach open, and just puts Zeke in there. It was the weirdest shit ever. But that shit was awesome though. Like, I was like, that was a great way to start this shit. And then we get more of Yelena, and I know we haven't talked about Yelena that much, and y'all can give your thoughts about Yelena as a whole. But she's talking to Pixis and stuff, and they're having this dinner, and I think that's like something that like she kind of promised or whatever, like when they were first sitting down and stuff, like that we're gonna eat together or some shit like that. And they got these and all these people got different armbands now, similar to like Marley. I think, what was it, Red? It was the people that drank the wine and knew about it, didn't know about it, or just drank the wine carelessly. The people with the white armbands were Jaegerists, and people with the black bands like Pixis didn't know what the hell was even going on and whatnot. But what else went on? And then we get also Aaron asking Gabby for help. And I like that he referenced Gabby as the person that killed Sasha. Like, he doesn't even know her name.
The person that killed Sasha. Hey, can I say this? Can I say this real quick, Perk?
Go ahead.
Hey, I'm kind of with Black Guru, bro. I don't know why Aaron keeping her alive too. Aaron don't give a fuck about no kids. She should have been dead. Aaron should have been choked her out.
I think it's coming though. I definitely think so. But then, as he's talking to Gabby, he's like, "Yeah, I need you to help me." What was it, Falco? Something like that, and pretty much using Gabby as like a way to kind of lure the invaders, people from Marley, out into the open and stuff. But before he can do all this, Peak shows up out of nowhere. I was like, and just stabs this one dude and puts a gun to Aaron's head. And this is why I love Aaron's character. It is because he just don't give a fuck. Like, he's just like, yeah, like, you have a gun to my head, but you're not gonna pull it, because I'm the founding Titan, and you need me alive. You don't want it to go to some random person and stuff like that. And but that's not like the whole episode, but I want to kind of get like everybody's thoughts on this so far and just whatnot. Chillmonger.
She changed her story when she found out the gun thing wasn't going to work. She said, okay, I'm going to mold my conversation. I'm going to talk about how it's wrong that the Eldians get treated this way. Shut up, Gabby. No, put your gun, take it away from the trigger finger, Gabby, because he's got some points here, and we can find a solution together. And when your brother spoke to me, I could tell he's lying, but when he talked to you, I knew there was something there. And she's such a good agent where she saw that one pathway wasn't working and the immediate switch up, where I actually believed her. Even when they take her upstairs and they say, "Where's the enemy?" and she points towards Eren, I'm like, "Oh, enemy must be behind them." And then the Jaw Titan comes and tries to eat him, and I'm like, "Oh, she was talking about the Jaw Titan." No, she was playing everyone the whole time.
Yeah.
What she does say that no, she's not drinking the Kool-Aid of the Marlians. Like what she explained to Gabby was, what do you think is going to happen? Because war has caught up to the Titan era, as you saw in that last battle.
Yeah.
So they are going to get rid of us when they don't need us anymore. However, they're my comrades and I can trust them. And there were like 5 blimps coming.
Yeah, but I didn't get that. See, that's funny you say that, because I was like, wait a second. So if she uses that trickeration she did to get out of that situation, which I think you make a great point, the fact that she easily, smoothly switched strategies and used a different ploy to get to her ultimate place where she wanted to go. But if she doesn't believe that anymore, then why don't they just escape? Why are they working to kill Eren and trying to capture the Founding Titan?
I think it's just more about just their comrades, like Reiner and all them. Like, that's who she cares about more than just.
But I'm saying, why is she fighting? Why are they fighting? If they're not fighting on behalf of Marley, why are they fighting?
Annie, maybe it's Annie.
I wish they would say that. That would make sense if they want to like rescue her. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, that's a good. That's a good point. That's a good point though. Like, Guru, even Gabby says like, "Yo, why are we even fighting? Like, what is going on? Like, because like she's even confused in this."
Yeah. So that's why I'm asking. Like, why are they even going to fight if they're not brainwashed? You know what I mean? And they really understand the reality of the situation they're in. Why are they fighting against Eren?
I think they just got to play it smart and not like, go against Marley, because like I'm pretty sure they're all coming full force now, so it'd be kind of dumb to kind of switch sides now. It's just like, all right, get rid of Eren and then just figure out things from there. But what are your thoughts on this overall episode though?
I loved it. I did love it. It didn't feel like it went by fast. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there was enough happening to give me enough entertainment, but it didn't feel like a finale of any sort, right? It kind of just felt like one episode in a string of other ones. So that's the only thing I didn't like about it. The fact that it didn't just give me big, nothing really big happened. Good things happened. Things happened steadily. Important things happened, but nothing really big happened as far as plot resolutions go.
Do you feel like it cut off at the right moment instead of like giving us a bunch of action and then cutting it off and just leaving it where it's at? So when we get back,
if you're gonna end this episode, you can end it like that.
Okay.
I got enough.
Yeah, I feel like it's cool, but normally in a season finale or even a mid-season finale, you get like plot resolution, like you get something you've been working on all season to kind of conclude. You feel me? And nothing really concluded. Everything is still wide open. Where's Levi? What's going on with Annie? Everything is still wide open. Normally you get a couple of things to actually conclude. So it just didn't feel big. That's my only issue with it. Other than that, I feel like it was wonderful.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think that Armin got conclusion when he found out that there was this peaceful euthanasia plan that was in the works. He's like, okay, good. My friend didn't completely go off the rocker. There's actually a solution here.
So
yeah, I forgot to mention that too. Like when they're down in the cellar and stuff, like Connie was talking and stuff. It's just like and then John made that comment. Like I think that Eren he's not being manipulated, so that means like he's somewhat still in there and whatnot. So he kind of see, he can kind of like understand.
You believe Zeke's plan is Eren's plan?
Ooh. No.
Okay, so Zeke's plan is the euthanasia. You think Eren is really on board with the euthanasia, or does he have something else in mind?
I think he's on board with the euthanasia, but maybe even more. Plus, when he touches Zeke, the plan will probably change because there is this secret that Zeke has that no one else knows about. And I don't think they're talking about this. So I think there's more to the plan that's going to happen.
Yeah,
There's
well,
more planning.
yeah, because it's so much to
Yeah.
it because they need
Go ahead, Kate. Tell me what you felt about this episode.
What just to confirm, Zeke is of royal blood, right? It didn't
Yeah.
Grisha give with someone of royal blood?
His mom.
Yeah, he's half.
Okay.
He's got half. Yeah, he's half.
I don't know. It just seems weird because I mean he can just go touch Historia and do what he need to do. If that's the case.
But he's not the
We
founding
don't-
Titan. He need the founding Titan.
Yeah, no, Aaron's the founding.
Oh yeah. So you're saying Aaron can just go touch Historia?
Yeah, touch Historia and get it.
But
all
I
done.
think it's but I don't think they know where Historia is at right now. But
Well, hell, I mean,
she could be in a seclude. I mean, she is the
yeah,
queen. She could be in a
they just took over the military. I mean, how bad does he
Yeah.
want to touch her? Like, if he want her, if he wants at her, he can get at her.
yeah. But no, I think there is something with Zeke, especially, and I really think it's coming though. I really think Aaron double crossing his brother is coming. If not, then
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's because I don't think they have the same plan. I think they're on different pages.
Mhm.
I did ask myself that, like, why doesn't Aaron just go to Historia and touch Historia, and do out his plan and use his plan? I don't know, but I feel like I believe everything will ultimately be answered. It's just I've never had so many questions about a show. Good questions, right?
Yeah.
Fun questions, good stuff to talk about. Good, it makes you
good dialogue,
have to watch
yeah.
the show a few times to really understand something. So it's good in a good way, but I just have so many, and I just hope that they can kind of land the plane. They can kind of, take all of this home and make it all make sense. So that way, after the show is over, we're not leaving with a ton of questions.
They always answer the questions though,
True.
even from the beginning. Why is that female Titan covering her nape? Does she know something? Hey, what's going on with the walls? Why are there Titans inside?
With that being said, to close this out, what's next for Attack on Titan? Thank God that they got confirmation for a part 2. I know a lot of people, like I said this earlier, like they want to jump to the manga, but it's just like I don't feel like I'll be immersed as much as I am watching it, like watching things play out, and just I don't know. I can't get jiggy with reading right to left. That should just that bothers me a little bit. But yeah, man, we got I don't know how many episodes they're gonna have in this part 2. I think I'd be cool with 13 or something like that, or like if they do another 16 or something like that. I'm not too sure. Because they got like 20 something chapters left to do.
I need 16. I need a whole 16. Don't even play.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be dope. It's so they said the winter 2022. So that's like it could be December of this year going into January, February, or I'd be cool if them started in March and stuff, so they can get away from that winter release, because that's kind of a hectic schedule for them to do. You know what I'm saying? But I'm cool with waiting. Because I definitely need to kind of relax and just kind of rewatch this whole season to catch everything. I'll probably rewatch the whole entire series and say fuck it again. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's the dope thing about this series. It always makes you want to go back and watch older episodes, or just it never really gets old to me.
True.
You always find something new when you're watching it. Like at first, I thought when Aaron first came over to Marley, he was missing his hand. I thought he was missing an arm and a leg, but it is interesting that he conveniently is missing that same leg that he lost back in episode 5 from that Titan that bit off his leg. That's little details like that are interesting, but I just want to kind of go around and kind of get people's final thoughts on where they could possibly go. What's your expectations for the future, on how they can possibly end this all? K-Dot? See there? Oh, he's muted. I'll go to Guru.
Yeah. Like I said, I have no clue. Now, this is a show here, like I said, having more questions than answers. So I don't really know how it's going to end up. I know there's some backstory we're going to get as far as explaining how we got to where we're at. But as far as what happened at the end, I mean, ALT has set themselves up. They can have one of the greatest shows of all time, or they can kind of Game of Thrones it, because there's a lot of moving plates right now. And if you can't set all those plates down properly, a few might break and a lot might break, and it'll ruin the reputation of the show.
Oh,
I think they go as far as Game of Thrones? Absolutely not.
But before you, I don't mean to cut you. I don't mean to cut you off, but like it's funny that you say Game of Thrones, because the creator, he's a huge Game of Thrones fan, and he mentioned like, yeah, I don't want my ending to be anything like Game of Thrones.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, okay. As long as he said that, I got confidence now. We gonna be good. We gonna be good.
And he's a Breaking Bad fan also, so
I can see that.
Yeah.
I don't have high expectations. Or go ahead, continue, Black Guru, if you need to finish.
No, I'm good. Those are my
okay.
thoughts.
I'm leaving my expectations alone. Yeah, there's a lot of moving plates, but also there's a plate I think that they will bring in that I'm good. I got the answer to Ymir. She was the first ever Titan, right? That was the story from back then. I think they're gonna explore that the same way, without spoiling. At the end of Naruto, they explore the origins of chakra. I feel like they really are gonna go back in time and explore the origins of Titan, where I'm okay with the very first Titan and not knowing how that all happened. Just get me to the end of the Titan history. But I think they'll go back in time.
Okay. K-Dot, you there?
I am here.
All right, Mike.
So we predictions for what's going to happen, which we think will happen. What is the thing?
Yeah, like what's your expectations?
This is the thing. I did not read all the manga. I haven't started the manga. I just know one thing from the manga, and that's the origin of how all this started.
Oh, so okay.
I know for sure in part 2 they will explain the Titans and all this junk. They will. They will explain these Titans in part 2. Thought it in part 1, but in part 2 for sure.
And I didn't need that. That's what I was saying earlier. Black Root didn't need that. Perp doesn't need that. Or unless you guys need that. Do you guys need that?
I just my thing is I want to see how it all started. That's all I want to see.
What, need the backstory?
I didn't need to see how it all started. Just tell me that it started. There was a Ymir who started this thing, and they're all called founders. I mean,
no, I definitely want to see that. That'd be dope.
Because
to the question, do we need?
Because you're gonna like it because of the character of Ymir, but I don't want to say yet. Ymir's not your. She is.
She's probably still alive.
No, I'm gonna give you the best example. She is she's just like all the other children in this show, a victim of adults' blasphemy. That's the best thing I can say.
That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
That's all I can say.
Go ahead, Guru.
This is all I'm saying. To the point, do we need to see it? Yeah, we need to see it because so much of the plot that we've been watching is tied up in it. So that's why I had a problem after episode 15, or 14, whichever one, where Aaron was at the table, is because 14. Yeah, they're doing so many things now that that require the knowledge of what originally happened. They're doing a lot of stuff outside of our knowledge. Things are happening and we don't know what the hell's going on as far as whose powers or what, or who's lying, who's telling the truth. But when we talk about the powers and we talk about people having some memories and not others, certain flashbacks, like the flashback in episode 1 for Aaron, he had a flash forward when he was, at the beginning of that episode. So my point is, we're seeing so much tight metaphysical shit happening that I have to get the backstory just so I can understand what I watched the first time anyway. You see what I'm saying? Otherwise,
I'm concerned.
It's uncertain.
I'm concerned that the backstory is going to come with something I didn't need to introduce, like the Eternal Titan, who is the one who decides which person of an Eldian descent gets to have the power of certain Titans. Like, I don't need that stuff. I think they could ruin it. But that's just a prediction, right? Like, they might not even go there.
I see that point. Actually, that's not a bad point. as far as inside, because we've seen comics and shows and movies do this before, where they introduce this kind of final backstory thing, and then they shove a bunch of bullshit in it, and it doesn't really, and it hurts the show. What comes to mind is, I don't know if anybody's ever seen Legend of Korra, season 1 of Legend of Korra.
That show.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
seen it.
The first, remember the first season, at the end they started talking about, like, I think his name was Yukon, or they started talking about plastic surgery and people being born out of it. It was this whole bunch of garbage that justified some stuff that happened earlier, and it ended up hurting the whole season. So I do see your point, as far as they could shove a lot of stuff in his backstory that makes the whole season look different and kind of uninteresting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's dope. But this will be the last AOT live, at least till like next year, so 2022.
Yeah.
Sundays are gonna be boring again. Oh well, got nothing to watch on Sundays no more.
I did want to say this because it gotta be said, and we gotta be asked, because we know it's gonna happen. We don't specifically know, but I want to ask, who is Reiner giving that Armor Titan to? Because because I feel like at this point Reiner is like, he's ready to die, and as we've seen in the previous seasons, he's not winning this fight with Eren. Like, Eren won pretty much all their fights. He is going to lose. But who is going to take that Armor Titan? Because I feel that, and all the seeds that all the things have been set up. Falco has the Titan serum in him. I think Zeke is going to do the thing and activate the Titans during the midst of the fight to, cause disarray and stuff and confuse the enemies, Marleyans and stuff. And I think Reiner is going to see Falco as a Titan. He's going to recognize him, jump out of the transformation just to help Falco get out of that state that he's in, allow Falco to eat him, and help Falco snap back to reality, because he does not want to see Falco in a state like that as a mindless Titan. Do you guys think Falco is going to be given the Titan in part 2? Or
I feel like that's a little bit too predictable. I think it's going to be somebody else. I definitely think that it's fair. They've been setting up like Falco's in the end credits, and he plays a big. He's all over this season, so like they're definitely
going to
use
Falco,
him for something.
He's on the marketing. It's got to be him. He's on the poster. It got to be him.
But I will say I see a heavy influence, emphasis on birds and just things that are flying. So, and he even makes mention of this in the first episode. And it's interesting that the parallel seeing episode 1, and where he gets he says like his head hurts or some shit like that, and he gets hit over the head with a fucking wine bottle and shit. So I don't know if there's something there, or like he kind of saw like that foreshadowing, because like Eldians are all kind of like connected, and they and Tom makes mention to Zeke before he gives him his powers that like all these people are like subjects of Ymir, like the Armor Titan, and all the different Titans and stuff and whatnot. So they're all kind of connected in a way, but it's gonna be interesting. Guru dropped out.
Hey, bro, I'm just gonna say this. This show is gonna end better than Game of Thrones. It's gonna be, bro. This shit is gonna be better than Game of Thrones. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's
about to take another W against the West. That's crazy.
Yeah, it just goes to show you, man. It's just like all the talent that goes behind this show. It's just like you could tell the author took like a good amount of time like crafting the story, using like Norse mythology, mixing it with like world history and all that stuff, and mixing it with, and at its core, this is still a shonen anime, which is crazy. It's like it's killing all the different tropes of shonen and stuff, like how it's all about friendship and shit. Like, nah, like it's completely the opposite with this and stuff. It's not about like beam struggles and stuff like that, even though that's cool, but this is kind of taking it to the next level, and it's going to be interesting to see the next 10 years what animes come out, like what's going to be the only anime that I could say that is close to this that has potential is Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga is amazing. I need that season 2. But I know Chillmonger gotta get out of here and stuff, and I don't want to keep him too long. But I'm just gonna wrap this up. Let y'all know that this Wednesday on the Perk Show, we're gonna be talking King Kong versus Godzilla versus Kong. K-Dot's gonna be there. He's gonna pay me my $10.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all this.
Don't tell me nothing, bro. Don't tell me nothing.
No. It's no spoiler, nothing, none of that. I just got a surprise for y'all, so I get to go watch an early screening of the film tomorrow.
Oh, yo, send me that.
At the movies?
No. Warner Bros. Gonna send like a virtual link.
Send me that. Send Chill that too.
I'll see what I can do. Wink, wink.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're definitely gonna be discussing spoilers on that stream. I'm gonna have a non-spoiler review come out whenever I see the movie and shit. I'm Team Kong. Chill. What team you on?
I'm in the middle. Clearly, I actually don't have a preference. I just want a good movie. I know that's a cop-out answer.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm just here for a good time.
I feel you. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun. Cause I heard it's just a fun time in the movies. It's doing really well in the box office, so that's good.
They said like what 100 something million right now.
122 million internationally.
Hasn't even touched the States yet. Imagine when it touches the States. I think this is going to be the best performer this year for theater films. Well,
domestically maybe.
Yeah.
No, Fast and Furious.
It's coming out this year. I know it got delayed again.
Oh,
that's coming. I completely forgot about that. I was like, Fast and Furious.
Did it get delayed to next year or this year? I forgot what year it got delayed to.
Yeah, man. But we're gonna be talking about that. We're definitely gonna try to talk about the Suicide Squad and kind of play a game like who's gonna live or die and whatnot. There's a shit ton of people in that cast. But yeah, man, it was dope having you, Chill. Finally, after years of like kind of like knowing you and stuff, like I always like I never wanted to rush into it. I felt like this was like a perfect thing to kind of collab on, and like I'm always down to talk about other things like Marvel stuff, but like that's your realm. That's what you're really good at and stuff and whatnot. But
I'll DM you later. I think next week I have a video plan where I just read Twitter polls. You've seen that video before? And if you could
those are fun.
Yeah,
those are fun. Those are fun. Yeah, I definitely see what my schedule looking like. Hopefully I don't work or nothing like that. But yeah, make sure for those that don't know who Chillmonger is, go follow him on Twitter and go subscribe to his channel. It's as it's spelled out. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you go subscribe to K-Dot. K-Dot, what you got going? I know you got your Attack on Titan review. Is it already out?
It's about to premiere.
The Black Guru said his phone died. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, so make sure y'all go head over to K-Dot's channel. You know what I'm saying? Go check out his premiere, show him some love. Subscribe if you're new. If you're watching on Periscope, you know what I'm saying? And I might as well throw this up because this is the true villain of Attack on Titan. To be continued. You know what I'm saying? So I will see y'all Wednesday for the Perp Show. Definitely pull up for that. You don't want to miss that. That's going to be entertaining. Who will win, Godzilla or Kong? Obviously, it's going to be Kong. But nah, realistically, the fans win regardless. So, But until next time, I will see y'all later. Peace.
Peace out.